News 8 has exclusively learned that multiple men were arrested at a recent high school graduation ceremony in Grand Rapids for having an AR-15 and 3 handguns.
The ceremony was inside Calvary Church on the East Beltline. News 8's Byron Tollefson has the story.
Police say this is another example of a larger problem: young people illegally armed with dangerous weapons in public.
As thousands filled Calvary Church on East Beltline for a high school graduation last Thursday, police say 2 young men were armed with weapons that were illegally owned. Police say the first, 19-year-old Cheyenne Armstrong, had an AR-15 rifle and a handgun. The other, 19-year-old Anthony Laster, allegedly had 2 handguns.
We had is masked individuals, armed to the teeth, that weren't there to celebrate a graduation. There's something very wrong there and something very, very scary.
That night, Calvary Church was hosting a graduation for Link Online Learning, a virtual high school for kids who have dropped out or are at risk of not completing high school. The church, with its huge capacity, hosts graduations for several local schools. The church's director of operations, Donald Turry, tells News 8 that they've rented their space to Link Learning for graduations for the last few years. Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom says an officer stopped by and checked the venue. In the crowd during the graduation, the sergeant saw a group sitting together wearing ski masks and surgical masks. Winstrom says they weren't students. They said they were there for a sister's graduation, but police say there was no sister.
Then while other people seem to be celebrating this great graduation occasion, these individuals were acting in a way that made this sergeant suspicious of them. In fact, they were standing up, they were looking out the window, they weren't paying attention to what was going on.
After the ceremony ended, police say the group lingered inside and then eventually got into a vehicle in the parking lot.
They exited the vehicle, they appeared to be shifting a bag to another vehicle. They then switched vehicles.
The officer tried to stop the car, which reportedly also had a vehicle violation, and police say Armstrong ran off. Police say the officer chased him, tackled him, and found in his bag the AR-15 and the handgun. Other officers then came to the car, where they say Laster fought with police. They ended up catching him and finding 2 handguns. Grand Rapids police have taken at least 160 illegally possessed guns off the streets so far this year.
The fact that they thought that they could freely drive around the city of Grand Rapids and not worry about getting caught with that is something that we need to change that narrative, and we need to let people know that do not carry an illegally possessed gun in Grand Rapids, because we will hold you accountable.
Winstrom can't say for sure if the guns were ever inside the church. Both Armstrong and Laster are both now in the Kent County Jail, charged with 2 felonies, carrying a concealed weapon and obstructing a police officer.
Could have ended a lot worse. Yeah, we've had 3 lives tragically lost over the past week to gun violence, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that those numbers are as low as absolutely possible.
It is unclear how the men allegedly got the guns. The church's director tells me he's extremely disappointed that this happened, and he's going to reconsider doing graduations coming forward as he tries to balance trying to be a good neighbor and hosting the community versus any risk involved.